Oh, hey guys, welcome back to Too Far Gone Media. Mark Couture here, and today we're going to keep touching base on the Freedom Convoy and what's happening right now downtown Ottawa. And I tell you, something that just made me have tears to my eyes has happened, and that is the heroes of old and of new. Those who have fought for our liberties before have come out of retirement and are now again standing side by side. You, my brothers and sisters, that's right, side by side with us for our civil liberties. And yeah, this is real, guys. This is what's really happening here on the streets. This is something. With no further ado.
My name is Eddie Cornell. I'm a veteran of the Canadian Forces. I served in a combat arms trade, and I'm calling on all fellow veterans to stand up for your country once again. You're not wearing your uniform at this point, but you're a soldier, no less the same that you were prior to retiring. We are in a very critical situation in this country where our freedoms have been taken away. All of you know what it's like to stand up for freedom and democracy around the world. We've done it, and it's your turn to do it here in our own country. They're starting to take it away. You can see it, you can smell it. I need you to come here and support this action. You have to be part of something bigger than yourself. Don't be afraid to put yourself in harm's way like you did before. Putting yourself in harm's way got you where you are now, and you need to do it once again. I'm calling Stand 2 for all my brothers and sisters that served to come. Come to Ottawa. If you can't come to Ottawa, stand up in your community. Let your voice be heard. And I mean in a non-violent way. Violence is something that is not what we're trying to have anything do to incite insurrection or anything of that nature. I'm asking you in a peaceful manner to come forward and stand up for your country and hold the line.
And so this happened the day after.
Where are you from? Where are you from? Get the fuck out of here. I want nothing to talk to you, propagandist scumbag. You are a propagandist scumbag. You're a propagandist scumbag. Get out of here. How do you sleep at night, bud? You sleep really good or what?
Now you all need to understand that moment right there, that this is a news station that has been giving flawed information, and this is what's happening. We're recognizing them for the fake news they are, and now we're starting to call them out. Look how united we are.
Do a little prayer. Come on up, brother.
Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory, forever and ever. Amen.
The Lord bless you and keep you. The Lord make his face shine upon you and be gracious to you. The Lord look upon you with favor and give you peace. Amen.
Amen.
Freedom!
Canada, our home and native land, through patriot love, in all our sons command, with glowing hearts we see thee rise, the true north strong and free, from far and wide, O Canada.
Watch the flowers!
Thank you. Can you take over?
So we spent a lot of time covering the place, and I've never.
So here's what I'm asking: are you guys staying here 24/7 all night now to guard this?
Recording.
I hope so. Like all the time.
Yeah.
So you guys are going to guard this now for us.
Yes, that's what we were doing before.
Okay.
When it was installed, it was 2 o'clock in the morning, and it was more a political statement than it was something else. And we're making some sort of statement saying to the politicians that the soldiers don't see in them our representatives because they're betraying our country at this point in time.
Okay, but we're trying to protect it from people causing.
I understand.
So just instead of taking down the entire fence, maybe we could have had just part of it open, so you could have brought people in and out. Because now we're going to be back at the same point where people are now going to cause damage, because unless you guys are here 24/7,
I actually don't think that it's going to be the people that cause damage. It's going to be Justin Trudeau and his gang of thieves.
Yes.
And if we got to put a man on this, because you guys have what, like 1,000 cops in the city right now?
So that's what I'm saying.
So we'll put a man on it then.
Excellent. This is on you guys. Perfect.
What's your date of birth? What year, sorry? Sir, we're with Global News. Could we ask you a few questions about why this was important?
No comment. Okay. No comment, because we don't trust you guys.
Say no to Global News!
You didn't do a good job up to now.
See, and there's another one calling them out. You guys really have to understand, the news is corrupt.
Good day, folks. My name is Major Stephen Schladowski. I have served Canada in the Canadian Armed Forces for 20 plus years. I hold a first-class honors degree in political science, and I have held several Army command positions. I have an urgent message for all Canadians. For nearly 2 years, our own elected government officials have been using the bullying tactics of fear, intimidation, coercion, and financial and physical violence against us to gain compliance for certain repeated medical procedures. We tell our children that bullying is wrong. We know it to be so. Yet we allow our leaders to do this to us. They have knowingly and repeatedly violated the highest laws of the land in the Canadian Charter of Rights and Freedoms, as well as other signed international human rights agreements. Canadians have been lulled into believing that the same government who suppresses your freedoms in the name of safety will one day just reward you back with your freedoms if you just comply to ever-changing rules and health orders. That, folks, is the very definition of tyranny, not democracy. Humans are inherently free. Kings and queens and government cronies can't give you your basic human rights. They are naturally yours. They can't be given, they can't be taken. They can only be suppressed. In the Charter of Rights and Freedoms, Queen Elizabeth is recognizing in law our fundamental freedoms. The federal and provincial governments of Canada have chosen, through a well-planned and orchestrated set of measures, to trick and fool and scare you, the very people who elected them and pay their salaries, into complying with the suppression of our basic human rights. They have knowingly betrayed you and me under the lie of safety. This past Remembrance Day, as I stood in front of the military cenotaph in Fredericton to honor my comrades who gave their lives for others' freedom, I overheard the Premier of New Brunswick, Premier Higgs, and our Member of Parliament, Jenica Atwin, tell members of the public how special it was that these brave members of the military gave their lives for their freedom. That same freedom that these very liars and deceivers are actively working right now to suppress. I stood there, a soldier of nearly 21 years, as a senior officer in the Canadian Army, as a veteran of Afghanistan, participating in Op Medusa, the largest combat operation for Canada since the Korean War, where I watched my own brave comrades fight and get injured and die. But I also stood there as a person who hasn't taken the COVID-19 injection. The irony, so even though I serve this country, and it has been an honor to do so, an absolute honor, like many thousands of Canadians who choose body autonomy and pro-choice, I am unable to share in the same privileges now, like eating at a restaurant, going out in public to an event, or even traveling across provinces to see my child. This is happening to many others. These government traitors to freedom are suppressing the rights of the very people they claim to honor, and it made me sick to my stomach. These Canadian governments are now focused on our children. I am calling on the medical community to put an immediate halt on these children's injections until the Canadian public can receive the accurate, truthful data from these COVID injection injuries that have already occurred. The Canadian public has a right to be able to make informed medical choices, especially for their little children. To tell them repeatedly it is safe and effective and not give them that choice is a crime, and it's also genocide. The media and government must put an immediate halt to all scientific medical censorship and the silencing of health professionals who do not comply with your agenda, as well as hear from injury victims. The Canadian public has a right to hear from those in our communities and families who have been injured by this procedure. I am calling on my military and police comrades, all of you, all of us who have sworn a personal oath to protect our family, our friends, and our community, to now stand up and protect your loved ones against this government-forced medical tyranny. You chose to serve because you wanted to give back to your community. And instead, the government has turned your love for community and your loyalty against you, and you are now a weapon against the very people you love. Brothers and sisters, you can't be forever changing indiscriminate government measures which use fear and violence, and also be for your loved ones and for freedom. You have to choose. I am asking you to choose your family and your community. This is why you serve. And this is your moment to be a hero for your loved ones. They deserve the truth. They deserve to be protected. I am also calling on all Canadians to join in solidarity together. Freedom and love for our community. Freedom to choose who you want to be, where you want to live, what you want to experience and learn, what your spirituality is and what you want to practice, who you want to love, what you want to put in your own bodies is the foundation of our democracy in Canada. We cannot let freedom die with this generation. May God forever bless the free citizens of Canada.
I'm here today with Nick, who's a trucker, and this trucker, I salute him and I salute all the truckers.
Now this one's a lot more politically motivated, but nonetheless it's the truth of what's happening.
Thank you. God keep you and bless you and keep you safe on the road. Hi, I'm Victor Green and I'm here in Windsor on Saturday the 12th of February, just around about 1 p.m. and I'm here to support all the truckers and the people that have come out to the blockade of the Ambassador Bridge. And I just wanted to say a few words about Drew Dilkins, the local mayor.
You said this morning on a local radio station that some of the folks on the ground there, the folks being the protesters, you called them mentally unstable, who you believe were willing to die for whatever cause it is they're fighting for here. I wonder what prompted you to say that, and what are your concerns?
Well, what prompted me to say it is they made the comments themselves, reading local media and statements from protesters who are here, who are so passionate about this particular cause that they're willing to die for it.
Freedom!
We don't want anyone to die here. We want people to have their protest. We respect that. We live in a democracy. But at the end of the day, it is not right to lock down our international economy and to have these particular Canadians hurt and affect the lives of their friends and neighbours.
Drew Dilkins, in a recent media appearance, has said that this blockade is having a major adverse effect on the local economy. Well, most people here, in fact everybody here, recognises that the mandates have had a hugely greater economic effect on the economy. Drew Dilkins and people just like him, they're the terrorists of Canada, not these freedom-loving people which are assembled here today.
You know, this narrative is being created against us that we are evil, bad people. You know, and terrorists, domestic terrorists. It's a peaceful protest. You know, we aren't racists. We aren't misogynists. The local media is inciting violence on us. I've lost so many friends. I have so many people that I love and I want to show love to that I feel turned on me because of my stance. But we're all fed up. You know, what are we going to do? I've lost my job at Chrysler. I've been put on a leave of absence because I didn't get the jab. You know, I don't support, you know, forced injections. I don't support any of this.
I just love the positive attitude by every Canadian I'll ever see in my life. I've never gotten any negative attitude from this place.
I'm here for my kids. I'm sick of them wearing masks. I'm here for their future and standing up for their rights. We brought them here this morning. I have 3 kids, and I just think it's really important for them to know that this discrimination is not okay and these mandates need to end.
I'm not a fan of the mandates. I don't believe in them at all. Maybe at the beginning, but we've come so far since the beginning and we've made so much progress. I don't think we're following the science anymore. I think we're following a political science here. It's not right, it's not fair to the citizens here. Myself, I got my own story moving back to Canada in 2019, having no support from the MPs. But that's really what I'm out here for, is showing my disdain for the government and how they treat Canadian citizens.
This is hitting jobs, workers, and our supply chains that stock grocery chores from Windsor to Quebec. My community's message to the protesters: end this blockade today. My question to the Leader of the Opposition: when will the Conservatives stop pandering to the protesters and start standing up for workers of this country?
And we want to point out to Eric Kazmierczak that if anybody's ruined this economy, it's been him and the Liberal government.
This election, vote for a strong Liberal government that will stand with auto workers and strengthen manufacturing communities like ours in Windsor-Tecumseh.
Where is Eric Kazmierczak? He's not amongst the people. He hasn't put in an appearance down here. All he is concerned with the corporations and the big business. He's not concerned with the people at all. If he was, he would be down here meeting with them to discuss and have dialogue with people to try and find out what it is that we need to do to end this blockade.
You know, I'm fighting for the freedoms of Canadians.
That's nice.
You know, and I'm here to support the truckers. Yeah. God bless the truckers. God bless this land.
We can't have a group of people dictating policies which don't work, and you can obviously see from here, everyone here is voicing their opinion on these policies right now. And who's the minority here? The politicians who are calling these policies and debating these policies, or the people who are coming out here?
What's going on in the mind of the average cop here now as he's facing his own citizens from his own country?
They're just doing their job. They don't want to be out of a job like anyone else, and I hope that they're trying to mug off the orders that they're receiving as much as possible and do the bare minimum and keep it peaceful as possible. Yeah, I can see it in their eyes. They don't want to be here. No. It's Saturday. They'd rather be at home with their families. I hope most of them are having a conflict of interest with themselves right now. You have to be careful. We can't repeat history here, can we? What happened in the 30s in Germany with the forces, with the law enforcement. We have to, on a slippery slope here. We have to be very careful, and I hope the policemen and the policewomen are having a word with themselves here and maintain the peace.